Hello there, good evening one more time. I hope you had an excellent holiday, Easter holiday. We haven't seen since then. We took a break during Easter Monday. I hope you guys enjoyed with the family, though we couldn't go out, but I believe we all enjoyed the resurrection season. And also wish that you're keeping safe, keep safe. Please practice social distancing, wash your hands, and do everything that you were told to do. And I believe that we all meet at the end of this pandemic period. All right, so tonight or this evening, we're still on personal development skills. We started 3 weeks ago on personal development skills. And what are they basically? They are abilities and skills, the abilities that can help you develop yourself professionally and also personally. So it builds you in the office as a person, also outside, because you are your own brand. Everywhere you go, you must promote your own brand, and so you must develop that brand. And I told us 2 weeks ago, I said, everybody at some point in their life need to upgrade the version of themselves. You need to upgrade. You need to scale the version that you're operating with, just like you do with an OS for the computer. You need to upgrade yourself. You need to scale yourself up. So I told you that I'm preparing for version version 12. So basically, this is what personal development skill means. It helps you. It helps you to become a better person in the workplace and also anywhere you find yourself. We've dealt with two aspects of personal development skills. One is examples of personal development skills. We started with that. Then the second was how to improve on your personal development skills. Then today we're talking about personal development skills in the office. How do we now streamline it for those of us in the workplace? I said before that Marketplace Apostle is committed to equipping men and women with principles for success in the workplace, in your career, business, and leadership. And we tend to focus more on career. No, we tend to focus more on business and leadership. But I think it's time that we take out time this period to also deal with career and deal with issues that arise in the workplace. Because just like you have every follower, for you to be a good leader, you must be a good follower. For you to be a good employer, you must be a good employee at one time. Because if you are an employer of labor and you don't know how to handle your staff, it might become an issue at some point. So both the employer and the employee should be able to understand the concept of working well in the workplace. So I want to give us some tips today how personal development skills, how you can improve your personal development skills in the workplace. So I will start from number one is that you must be an active listener. An active listener. For you to be a good communicator, you have to pay attention to what people are saying. And a lot of people make that mistake of having this nudge. There's an urge within you. Somebody is talking and you know exactly what that person is going to say. Perhaps you even know where the person is going to land, and you just jump in and start to talk. That can be misleading, and also that most of the time that calculation or that your permutation might not come out as you think. So what that means is that you have missed a vital part that you will use in your communication. How can you understand someone when you don't really know what they're saying? A client is saying something because you feel that you are vast in that field, and you will not let your client land, and you begin to suggest things. I feel in the workplace, with your colleagues, with your bosses, and with your clients, you must listen well. Listen, concentrate to understand what they are saying, because you need that information. Is what makes you a great communicator. You need to hear those things that they actually want to say. So please, in terms of communicating, give whoever is speaking to you the benefit of doubt. For you to be a good counselor, you must be able to listen. For you to be a good boss, you must be able to listen. For you to be a good colleague, you must be able to listen. And when you listen, you are able to find out exactly what people need, and now you can now communicate on those things. And another aspect of communication is when you know what they want, because sometimes clients don't know what they want. You use questions. You ask them questions based on what they've told you, and by asking them those questions, they're giving you more information. And by the time you gather all that information, you can now say, okay, you make your response. So for you to be effective in the workplace, you must be a great listener before you talk, because response is better. Response is usually better than acting on the spur of the moment. How do you respond to people? There's what is called effective professional listening and communication skills. I think that everybody that wants to scale up in the workplace should learn this. You can learn it online. Once again, it's effective and professional listening and communication skills. I have taken a short training on it, and it teaches you. It's simple. It's not complicated at all, and it teaches you how to communicate as a professional and how to listen, to people. It helps you with interviews. When you go for an interview, either for a job or you go for an interview to bid for a contract. And if you've gone through that training, it helps you to ask the right questions and also to listen and communicate with them. Example, if you want, when you're communicating with somebody, you'll be asking them, someone has finished saying things to you, you should ask them, I want to believe that this is what you said. Is this what you said? Is this what you said? Is this what you meant? Is this what? And you follow through. By the time the person says, yes, that's what I mean. No, this is not what I mean. I mean this. This is what I actually mean. So you have understand what they're trying to say. If you don't have that response with you there, you can say, just a minute. You can tell them, I will come back in 2 days' time, or let us meet in a week's time, or whenever, however you can push that meeting so you can effectively communicate. In communicating, you are selling yourself. There's something that happens when someone knows. People are satisfied when they know they've been listened to, when they know they've been heard. It's frustrating when you are not heard. It can be very frustrating as a boss, as a colleague, as a client, as a customer, when you know that you have not been heard. And people just try to, is this? You feel happy when you tell your doctor, and you just like go to the hospital and you tell your doctor, this is what has happened through this 1 week. I took this medication, and the doctor will listen to you. And just saying it alone, the treatment has started. Because now you say, at least I've told him, now he knows how to, now he will know how to prescribe medications to me. So it is important that you listen, and listen very well. before you respond. It helps you in the workplace. And people gravitate to people that listen to them naturally. If you are a customer, you come to the office and you are talking to somebody and the person is on the phone. Madam, I'm hearing you. And you say, please, are you hearing me? Say, no, madam, I'm with you. I'm with you, but he's working. He's on his phone. He's making call. Madam, I'm with you. Talk. Or you have somebody that is talking to you. You are talking to the person. He's writing, making a call. Please, 1 minute, I'm coming. He's going up. He's listening to you. But one that when you come, he just drops everything and listens to you. For all you know, for all we care, he might not even be listening to you because he already knows your problem, but he just listens to you. He's just there. You finish all your rambling and he says, okay, I know what to do. Next time when you come to that office, you're going straight to that person. If the person is not there, you say, please, where did Emeka go? Do you know that some people can turn back and not even do any transaction because the person they wanted to see is not there? I used to have this many years ago in the bank I used to go to. There's a guy there. Everybody he's not even in operations, he's in marketing. But when he's there, he goes out and he helps. He will go there and talk to customers and help them understand what their challenges are. Before you know it, everybody is asking, where is this guy? Well, just because he listens and he just helps. It makes you be the go-to person. And before you know it, your bosses, your superiors and customers will be looking for you. And one day, because you're a good listener, you can stumble upon opportunities that can take you to the next level. So it's very important. Number 2, work well with others. Work well with others. People skills is one of the most important skills you need to have as a workplace person, as a career person. You need to be able, you are valued more by your ability to be able to collaborate and motivate others. If I am your supervisor or your manager, I am watching how you relate with others. It's very important. You know, there are people that they're in a team and they want to show off. Yes, you are the most experienced. Okay, maybe you are the most intelligent. You are the smartest there. There are some people that they don't want to mix. If they are in a team, if they are not the one voicing out, if they are not going to be the ones that will make the presentation, they don't put in their best. If for any reason in that team they are not being recognized, they won't bring in their best. And such people, you see that such people are quiet, they only play to the gallery. But somebody is watching. Somebody is watching. It means that you are not able, your gift is people that will blow your trumpet for you and say, look, everybody will be interested in having you in their team when they realize you're valuable. But when you are withholding that gift, that skill, because this time around they did not recognize you, what happens is that even you are not sharpening that your skill. You are not developing that your skill, and you are not relating with people well. Every manager and every superior is watching to see how you relate with other people, because you can't work in isolation. Even in marketing and sales, they usually pair them to going out, male and female. Not necessarily has to be male and female, but preferably. How do you cope when you go out marketing and you talk, your colleague wants to say something, say, hold on, let me finish. And even me, the customer, will be watching and say, hey, what's wrong with this dude? Let him earn his salary. Let this other guy earn his salary. Allow people. How do you socialize in the office? It's very important. How do you socialize in the office? Some people like to appear to be superior to others. They stay on their own and they don't want to mingle. Even customers. I had a colleague once, and he says that if his customer is not rich, he doesn't market poor people. He does not relate with companies that he does not feel are top-notch companies. And you can't survive by segregating yourself in the marketplace. How do you cope with your colleagues and your clients and your customers? How do you cope with an angry client? How do you cope with a nasty boss? How do you must be able to develop some certain form of people skill to get the job done. For me as a person, I'm a hands-on person. I am ready to do it. Once I have a project, it does not matter. I am ready to be buying everybody lunch. I have bought people, I'm not a team lead before, but I have bought people lunch. I have persuaded people to come on a Saturday, and I'm not even the team lead. Just for us to get that project done, I will tell them, see, there is something after this project. This project will bring us to the limelight. Why don't we do this? My own is that I need to get it done. Whether we have funds, if there's funds, there was a time when I was working, and I was even the assistant head, departmental head at that time. And because we were not in the headquarters, and doing retirement from Lagos and back here, it takes a long time. And when you're waiting for money for operations, and if it's not coming, it slows you down. So what we did was that I had to use part of my money. I bring out 30,000 naira every month. I keep it aside from my salary for us to run. This is my department, not even the region or the office, to make sure work is going. I will retire, the company will pay, but they can pay in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time. I can't wait for that, because I need to use the money to get things running. Sometimes the work, we're doing some work, I have to even go and pay, so I have to buy lunch or give money to people in other departments to come and help us to meet our target. Customers, for you to retain customers, you have to go to the golf club, you have to go to Port Harcourt club, you go to Lagos. When you go to Lagos for even family, when I go to Lagos for family, to see my family, I end up seeing 1 or 2 other clients that nobody sent me, nobody is paying for that, just for me to be able to keep that relationship, call them, send them text. These are things you need to do to help you advance in your work, in your job. There's a place for prayer, but you see, faith without works is dead. I have faith that I have customers. I have faith and believe that I will meet the billionaires and millionaires that will help me bring money to this company. But you have a terrible people skill. You don't know how to mingle, you don't know how to socialize, you don't have how to chat people up, and you don't have to maintain a relationship. What happens is that God has favored you, but this people skill that you have refused to develop will keep holding you back, will keep hindering you. Because developing people, not everybody, personal development skill, some of us are born with certain skills. All we need to do is brush it up and keep developing it. Some of us have to learn new skills. Either way, there is no skill you cannot learn. Either way, you can learn it, and you can learn to become to start socializing. A lady told me, met me in one of our business school, and said, look, I have a problem in socializing. I said, what do you mean you have a problem? He said, he doesn't like to go and talk to people that men will take advantage of her. I said, what do you mean that men will take advantage of you? It takes a lot of, when you are in a business setting, or she said men might take advantage of she coming to meet them and introduce her business. I said, why? For somebody to pick interest, it takes quite a lot. It is your body language. It might do with your body language, the way you talk. I've had ladies walk up to me and say, good morning, sir. Everywhere I say, look, I have this product. When somebody comes and greets you and talks one or two things and go into business, you know that lady is not coming for that aspect of socializing. She's socializing for, this is professional networking she's doing. So you must learn to carry yourself in a way that this is work, this is profession, nothing personal, it's business, because you need people to grow your business. You need people, you need customers. So you can't be shy of talking to them, male or female. You cannot be shy. And who says that if those things are going to make you compromise or make you uncomfortable, you can walk away at any time. You can walk away. Okay, number 3 is you need to learn how to organize your time, your work, and materials. The workplace is not a place for you to be scattered. You cannot be scattered. You need to plan your work, your tasks, so that you can quickly complete them. Because you see this body, this human body, is a bunch of lazy mass that likes to sleep and do nothing and procrastinate. You have to tell yourself, get up, do. My father will tell you, why do tomorrow what you can do today? Never tell him, okay, we will do it next week. What is wrong with today is the question he's going to ask you. So he helped me as a person that not pushing things forward. See, you need to know that projects, you need to prioritize projects. If you have many projects that you're doing at the same time, you need to prioritize. It helps you to complete. Because now you're a project manager, you have 10 sites or you have 10 projects that you are handling. How do you prioritize? You must have a plan to work. It's not let's just be working. There must be targets and timelines set to achieve these things. There must be timelines. You must have those timelines set. So what do you do? What do you do? And like for me now, there are certain things, because the bulk of my work is reading. The bulk of my work is reading, getting materials, and developing modules for trainings, for talk, for whatever I do. So I have to read a lot. So assuming now I have to read four books, I have to read 4 books in a month, and maybe about 100 journals in a month. So I have to put them, I have to set a target for my reading. If you see me with 2 books at the same time, it means that I have overstayed in one. So the time that I have, I will start reading the other book. Then my free time, instead of doing any free thing I'm supposed to be doing, I am now covering up for the other book I'm supposed to have read. This will make you each day, you know that you are looking, there's something you want to achieve. Because doing one project is easy. You can do one project and complain to, not complain as in give excuse to your clients and say, look, we couldn't do this because of coronavirus, we couldn't do this because of blah blah blah. But if you have 10 projects and monies have been released for those projects, which excuse are you going to make? Which excuse? You must work. If you are well organized, it will make you be able to meet your deadlines. And when you meet your deadline, what happens? Your company will nod and say, yes, this is a good this is a good employee, promotion will come. Mind you, every action that you take leads to promotion. Every action you take leads to increase in salary. Every action you take leads to an opportunity for business. Every action you take. So it's like every idle words you make or you speak, every idle word you speak is counting for you. Likewise, every idle action you take is also counting for you. Every positive action you take is actually counting for you. And sometimes we receive some form of blessing, and we say, I was not expecting it. No, you were not expecting it, but you were building it up. So it's going to come. Build up this goodwill, and one day do not cease in doing good, because you know what? There's a day of reckoning that is going to come. And when people see, even if you're not an employee, you are an entrepreneur, when customers see that you have structure in place, they will move with someone that has structure. I used to handle, or still handle, building sites from time to time, and I realized that I had to have a meeting with a client one day, and I said to him, see, you don't release funds and expect somebody to just be walking and no, I had to put everything in phases. Let's do this thing in 4 phases, and this is the amount it's going to take. So maybe you don't have enough funds to mobilize for the next level, the next phase. We wait, or you have that funds, it moves. So it's easy for it to be profitable for me at each phase. And if you don't put those things in place and you are just working because you have seen money, and maybe you've not had some jobs in a while and you've seen money and you just keep working, you realize that you're not making profit, you're working, at the end of the day you have nothing to take home, or very little to take home. But when a customer, a client will grumble, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? They will always grumble. A customer is never satisfied. So never be too worked up about a customer that is never satisfied. As long as you know you are satisfying him from your heart, you are cool. When you give him a structure on how you are working, you want to do his work, there is no way he will not come back to you. So you must be able to organize and put structure in the way that you do your own thing. It makes you people, even from your office, your table in the office. If I come to your seat, your table, I should be able to know the kind of person you are. If I come to your table first thing in the morning and last in the evening, if I come first thing in the morning before you come to work, I will know the kind of person you are. If I come to your table after you've left for work, I know the kind of person you are. It's easy. And it's not because we are those, don't say that I was born like that. No, nobody was born like that. It's because you've not taken time out to organize yourself. Once you start organizing your work, you start organizing yourself. You start waking up on time. You start tidying up things. It just flows naturally. Okay, number 4, walk through challenging situations. Don't shy away from challenging situations. When dealing with a problem, assess your options very well. Then you determine the best solution. So when there's a crisis at hand, something goes bad on site, or something goes bad in the office, it's not the time for you to be apportioning blame. It's not the time for you to be threatening somebody with sack and all that. Those things happen. Bad things even happen to good people. So when there's a crisis at hand, what we need to do is that we need to be able to hold on. The time to pass blame is not there. It's not looking at the I told you to come to work. If you have not come to work, if you have come to work on time, this will not have happened. No, that's not the time for you to begin to do that. How do you handle issues? If I'm conducting an interview, the last question I will ask you is, what issues have you had on your job, on this thing that you said you have done? And how did you cope? What am I looking for? I'm not really looking for anything. What I'm looking for is how his brain works when there's a crisis. Are you that kind of person that, I've had some kind of staff. They are very good in reporting what has gone wrong. They are very good in waking you up and present to you a problem. And the last of such staff that I had, I told him, come here. I did not employ you for you to be bringing problem to me. I employed you for solution. So by the time you come to me, I want to hear that, sir, this is what happened. This is my analysis. This is what I think. This is what I have done. And I feel that I haven't done it to this level. Let me escalate it. Let me escalate it to you, because I believe that if by the time you come in, you can finish it up. Not just handing me problem. Nobody wants problem. Nobody is paying you salary to bring problem to that person. And all of us put in our CV, I work with limited supervision, analytical thinker, blah, 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 blah. When you say all those things, I want to see the analysis. Show me the analysis. I am not saying, those type of maths questions in secondary school that have no answer. That the maths teacher will tell you, I just want to see the workings. In my secondary school, even primary school, the rough work, as they used to call it that time, you submit it. That will show the teacher that you're serious. And you realize that you might have missed your way. But the teacher can still give you 70 or 80% because you missed your way, but it's looking at what are the patterns you followed? What are the things you did? That's what a boss wants to do. Not come and say, sir, because of this coronavirus. Sir, problem there. I think that we have to shut down totally so that we don't spend money. And sir, so that now after when we come back, we will downsize. Let some people go. Then we will become lighter and move. That person should be sacked the next day. Because you have done nothing but promote fear. You have done nothing but promote show us. We all know there's a crisis. What do we do? Yes, there's a lockdown. But I want to hear, how can we take our business online? How can we begin to make money online? How can we begin to bring out new products, better ways of doing things? That is what you bring to your boss. 5 suggestions. And you bring to your boss 5 suggestions and say this and this and this and this is what we should be doing. That person, even when you are paying half salary to others because of the pandemic, that person will get full salary and even get bonus at the end of the pandemic. You know why? Because it's valuable. These are people you are valuable with your suggestions when crisis comes. It's not the time to bury your head. It's not the time to hibernate. And also, another thing is that when you are in crisis mode, don't be afraid to seek for advice. Let me give you an advice for free. Before you go to your boss to submit to tell him there's a problem or you can't proceed any further. Show him what you have done. Then research on that thing. There's almost nothing you cannot get on the internet. Suggestions. You present it to your boss and say, sir, I think you need to take a decision. The boss is there to take a decision. The boss is not there necessarily to generate the ideas. And when you give it to him, the more of that you give to him, the more valuable you become. So before you do that, research, come up with things to say. Then seek for advice. Call your colleagues. Call family member. Anybody that has gone through that crisis that you know. Ask for advice. In the multitude of counselors, there's safety. So don't think that you know it all. Ask people and they can help you. By asking people and researching and having this mindset, what it makes you is that you will just gravitate to becoming a critical thinker. You will just become, and once people see that you have that, you become, your value, your self-worth will just hit the roof. Your self-worth and your net worth will just hit the roof. And this is some of the securities that you're going to have. That when they say they are downsizing, you know that it's not you they are talking to. You know, sometimes when they say there is downsizing and people say it's not my portion, they are saying that it's not my portion out of fear. It's not out of faith. It's out of fear. Because when you know what you have, even when they downsize you, you know what you have. You'll be able to take it somewhere else. Because in the marketplace, they're looking for value every day. Number 5, believe in yourself. If you have confidence in your own decisions, chances are that almost everybody you meet will have confidence in you also. And for you to have that confidence, study to make yourself approved. A watchman that need not be ashamed. If you don't study, if you don't research, if you don't prepare yourself, you will not be, you will find yourself, you don't have confidence. What makes you, what are the things that will boost your confidence? Knowledge. When you know something, you know those examinations that you know. Even you have a pep to your step. You will be like a superstar when you are entering the hall. The way you are walking, because you know that you know the subject. When you dress well, there's a level of confidence that you have. But when you know this stuff, you are confident. And when you are talking to a customer, or even talking to your potential boss in a job interview, we can see it. You know why? Because that confidence emits positive energy that is attractive. And people are attracted to people that talk confidently. But this positive energy is surrounded by that confidence. You are going, and people are looking at, what is it with this guy? For the fun of it, people might want to know, what are you made of? That's an opportunity for you to sell yourself. So get confidence boosters. Confidence boosters as an employee is to know that work, or at least know what to do, have pattern, know what to do when there's a crisis. The first step of being able to be a math student is understanding formulas and patterns. So you might not know the answer in mathematics, but you know the formula and you know the pattern of what to do, the pattern to follow to get to the answer. The same way. And when people you need not know everything, but you need to have a model. You need to have a style. You need to have a pattern that you can talk comfortably about, and you are confident in it that it will help you. So with that, you're able to handle challenges and you meet your goals. So now what happens is that you have one employee handling one project, you have another employee handling another project, and crisis comes up. That crisis will hinder one person, but when you are fearless, not because you have the solution, but you have the willpower, the inner strength to say that I will move through this. This challenge will not stop this site or this project. Once you are determined within yourself that this thing will not stop you, it becomes easy. So whatever they throw at you, you know how to handle yourself and move on. Number 6 is adapt to changes. I've seen this kill a lot of people. You must be flexible so you can deal with changes at work and in life easily. People that adapt to things easily, they do better than people that cannot adapt to things. I have a friend I was talking to on the phone, and he was this internet thing, he doesn't know, he's a preacher, and it was like this internet thing that we are social human beings, so that how can somebody be talking on the internet? I like to speak flesh to flesh, physical to physical, that is how Jesus Christ did it. That's how we should be able to, and he making those points. He was joking, though we were joking, but the thing is that if he does not adapt to this age, this modern age and this internet age fast enough, it will hinder him. It will hinder his call. So we should be able to learn to adapt. What if you are in a team and this team was nice, the project moved smoothly, and they put you in another team, and that team they are not organized, that team they have issues, that team, how do you cope and survive in those teams? Like I say, every action leads somewhere. Every action you take, it leads to promotion. Opportunities come to people that are prepared. Blessings come to people who have been storing up memorial of these positive things, these good works for them. So when the opportunity comes, it looks as if that guy is lucky. That guy is not lucky, it's because he has been building it over time. Learn how to adapt. How about new ideas? People that adapt to new ideas and changes in the society, and you should be ready to adapt to anything to survive. And if you are part of the people that complain, why is this government? People that complain don't want to adapt are people that are always making excuses and seeing reasons why they cannot move forward. Reason. One guy was walking. I heard of a guy, he was just walking, and the next minute, for some reason, they sent him offshore. He working in an oil company. They sent him offshore, and he started 2 weeks in, or in fact, it was even 1 month in, 1 month out. One adapted to it, and the other person did not adapt well to it. Because he said he said his colleague was saying he's not in the agreement, employment agreement, that they will go offshore, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, the guy just lasted in the company for 18 months after that, because he didn't want to go. He had issues about going. It's not this, it's not that. But this other guy said, well, it's a new experience for me. Let me even go offshore, so that by the time I come out and become a manager here, I will know what is happening offshore and also what is happening on land. He took it as an opportunity, and the other guy, grumbling, got to management. Somewhere along the line, they gave him a desk job, but that was his way out of the company. You must be able to adapt to situations and just hold on. There's no situation that lasts forever. Like this pandemic, let's all hold on. Let's all keep safe. And let us try and practice all that we need to practice now in this time so that we come out on the other side. Some people are not adapting to it very well. But we need to be able to adapt to it. What can I be doing to be earning small money, even if it's 5,000, 10,000 within this time? What can I do? This is not my work. What can I do to be able to cope with this? I was speaking somewhere and I said, I was talking to a cousin of mine that the wife is a medical doctor. I said, but your wife is a medical doctor. That is business for you now. Because it's in the States that they can't go out. Why don't you tell her, just put her in social media for medical consulting and blah blah blah, call, and whether it's 2,000, 2,005, because people don't want to go to hospitals. They are afraid that when they go to hospital, they will tell them one thing or the other. So that is working. And he thought it was a joke, but somewhere along the line he's getting calls, and he gets medication across to them for those that don't understand, and you pay him small for the logistics. Things are working within the neighborhood. So if you cannot adapt to where you are, it becomes a challenge. You must be able to adapt somehow. Okay, 7, and I think perhaps I will end with this. Be truthful. Be truthful. Honesty is the foundation of positive relationship with colleagues, supervisors, anybody. Practice good ethics and stand by your values. Integrity can be costly, but integrity pays at the end of the day. Integrity brings respect. It gives you a reputation. It gives you a reputation. And like I said, be storing this thing in your goodwill account. Be storing these things in your goodwill account. A day will come that thing you are storing in your goodwill account will manifest for you. Be honest, integrity. Keep your hands clean. You see this thing, especially the young people, they put their hands, let's rock this deal now. Hustle. God bless my hustle. And you are hustling and doing things that nobody is saying you shouldn't hustle. But don't hustle with something that is in conflict if you are working for somebody. Because it's no longer hustle. It's in conflict with what you're doing. And don't hustle during working time, doing working hours. It's not time for you to hustle. Do some basic things. Mind you, you are an employee today. Tomorrow, you are an employer. What you sow is what you reap. So when integrity comes with pain. At times, it comes with a price and sacrifice. But the time will come. Nobody wants their money. Nobody wants to be defrauded. So they will look for an honest person. I don't have much time. I will tell you, people are owing me. People do business with me because they see that I've decided to live a certain lifestyle. And people look at that lifestyle as if you are prey. And because in the marketplace, everybody is a predator. And when you come up with certain standards and you relate with people with a human face, they look at you as if this one is mumu, this one is this one is mugu, this one is this one is let's do. Let me tell you, when you continue, business is about repeated order. It's about repeated processes, repeated sales. Even if you're an employee, repeated performance with your boss. When you when you make that money, you can't fool people all the time. You can't be in business and be duping people and be doing profiteering without recognition, without consideration. Doing all those things is for a while, is for a season. After a while, people will know you as a dupe, as a fraudulent person. They won't go near you. And while that person is flourishing in his habits, you are not, because people are looking at you as prey to feed on you. But after a while, give it a while, 5 years, you know, to develop a brand is usually very difficult. Honesty is a brand. Honesty, integrity is actually a personal brand. Because some people will tell you, I'm a nice person. I know I'm a nice person. But when people, but that person, nobody, even an angel can't live with that person. But people around them will just be looking. You are not a nice person. You only feel that you're a nice person, but you are not a nice person. It's because we're not mindful of our brand. Honesty, build it. Integrity, build it. A time will come, it gives you a reputation. And people will look and say, no, let me go to this man. He's an honest person. Integrity pays at the end. Might not be paid in the beginning, but it pays at the end. You see all those sharp practices in the office. You are storing them. You are storing that bad will, so to say. It's storing up in your bank. Whatever you do in the workplace, don't think you get away with it. You are storing it for yourself. And the day will come. Even if your employees don't even know, a day will come. You will employ somebody. That person is coming to do to you what you did to that person. It's a vicious circle. So when you are good where you are working, people will also be good to you. The people that I have, people that have been with me 12 years, 15, 10, 16, 17, 18, that is how it is. It's not because I'm perfect. I'm not. But I choose to deal with the human face. I don't, what you see is what you get. Integrity is meaning what you say and saying what you mean. And when you're able to do that, it becomes easy for people to know who you are. This one I cannot do. This one I will do. And you must have a moral compass. You cannot be operating as if you do not have a moral compass. You must have. There must be boundary for goodness sake. Not because the money is sweet, you will not know boundary. There must be a boundary. I don't have to go against my faith so that I can make these millions of naira or dollars. I don't have to go against my core values. Every man has a core value. They say every man has a price, but that is on the negative side. Every man has a price, right? So there's a price you pay for every man, and he will compromise. But the good side is there's a price. There's a price you cannot take. There's a price that you will not be able to take. You will not be able to go further than that and say, look, this is where I stop. No further than this. I will not enter into the boundary that will make me uncomfortable. We all have spirits. We are spirit beings. And if your spirit is not agreeable with any project, any job, you will keep regretting and keep regretting. Even you are in that job and you are doing well, but you know that what you are doing is not right. Integrity pays at the end of it. this is, I just leave you with some of these tips on how to increase your develop and strengthen your personal development skills in the workplace. The workplace is the bedrock of the marketplace, because even as entrepreneurs, we have to work from an office. We have to support, we have to sell, buy and sell from an office. So the office setting must work well. You don't have to be a business person to be a multi-millionaire. What you need to be is a good employee that know what to do when your salary comes, when your allowances comes. What makes you rich is investment, not salary. What makes you rich is what you do with the income and the inflow that comes to you. It's not the salary, or it's not the dividend. Because you can be getting 50 million naira dividend every year and still be broke because you don't know how to handle money. Or you can be collecting 20 million naira salary per annum and still be broke because you don't know what to do with the money. So it's not about salary, it's not about dividends, it's not about income as a CEO or as an employee. No, it's about knowing what to do with money. That is what makes you rich. So you don't have to be a business person to be a billionaire. You don't have to. But understand how money works. But in the workplace, the things that will prepare you for these things I'm saying is for you to develop personal development skills, improve your personal development skills in the workplace. It's very important. The workplace is like the family setting in a home. So the workplace is where everything is generated from. The ideas, the strategies, the planning, all those things. That is what makes the businesses stand. It's not the advert you see on television that makes you work. It is from the workplace. And this workplace is not angels that are there. They're human beings. And these human beings have to work with certain values, core values, and know some certain tips to help you, because it will help you to grow fast. This thing I'm telling you can help you within 10 years or less. You can even become an executive director in a company. You can have your own company. You must start from somewhere. So please, personal development skills is very key in the workplace. Okay, so I have to leave you now. Next week, Monday, we will be rounding up on personal development skills and maybe going into career path. Next week, we will be dealing with how do I highlight my personal development skills. So on Monday, next Monday by 5 p.m., I will also be here to give you tips on how to highlight your personal development skills. On the 2nd of May, I'm having a master class. This one is paid for, but 70% has been discounted off it, because I need to be talking to us about our self-worth and our net worth. It's a wealth creation strategies, how to improve our self-worth and our net worth. We all need it. Get ready now that you are home. Now we're in a lockdown and a downtime. It's time for you to grab all the things that you need. 2nd of May, I think, is about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. thereabout. Watch out for it. It's all the adverts and the promo on social media and SMS for those of you in our network. Look forward to it. It's going to be an awesome time. 2nd of May. And also on Monday, like I said, I'll also come here. I will talk more about it. God bless you. Keep safe, and see you on Monday.